everyone. Hello.
Hello.
Welcome. Thank you very much for taking the time out of your busy schedules to be here to celebrate Black leadership. Welcome to our 2025 Stories of Impact, where we acknowledge the contributions of Black nonprofit leadership in Canada to celebrate Black History Month. I'm wishing you all happy Black History Month or African Heritage Month, as is celebrated in Nova Scotia here in Canada. Nova Scotia boasts 52 historic African Nova Scotian communities, each with a profound and complex history spanning over 2 centuries. So happy African Heritage Month if you are Nova Scotian and Canadian. As we state every year, African Heritage Month or Black History Month celebrates the 3 big H's: our history, our heritage, and honor. Our history has been complex, been overlooked, and underreported, and that is why African Heritage Month is important to correct these narratives, and this applies to our heritage as well. Who are the heroes we should celebrate and honor? Leaders who promote a sound value system, innovators, people of creativity, literature, and traditions. Today, we would like to celebrate some of these leaders in our nonprofit community here in Canada. But before we move on, here are some housekeeping rules I would like us all to keep to let everything flow smoothly. Please mute your phone while the program is in session. You may type any question in the chat room, and during question time, the moderator will table it for discussion. And so without further ado, I will call on Priscilla Fofield to give us the land acknowledgement.
Good afternoon. We acknowledge that we are on the traditional territories of the indigenous peoples of this land, including the First Nations, Métis, and Inuit, who have called this place home for countless generations. Treaty 6 covers central and northern Alberta, home to the Cree, Saulteaux, Blackfoot, Métis, Dean, and Nakota, including the Edmonton area. We also recognize the Métis nations of Alberta, the province. We honor their histories, languages, and cultures, and are committed to reconciliation and building respectful relationships with the Indigenous communities. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Priscilla. We'll now listen to the Canadian anthem. So just give me a minute and I will start playing. Thank you. We'll now call on Jasmine to give us the Black Settlers acknowledgement. If you want to show your face, Jasmine.
Hello, hi. Can you see me?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. We acknowledge those who came here as settlers, as migrants, either in this generation or in generations past. and those who came here involuntarily, particularly those brought to these lands as a result of the transatlantic slave trade and slavery. We pay tribute to those ancestors of African origin and descent. We also acknowledge the ancestral Black people who came before and settled in Wildwood, Campys, Brent, and Amber Valley here in Alberta. They endured hardships and paved the way for the arrival of many African communities. And without their sacrifice, opportunities for many recent African communities would not be the same.
Thank you very much, Jasmine. We're now listening to the Black anthem. So let me start.
That is still good. I think we can.
Wonderful singing. I hope the words really resonate with us. We'll now call on Josiah to introduce our moderator for today's discussion. Josiah?
Thank you very much, Auntie Flora. Good afternoon to you all. So our moderator for this afternoon's section is the Vice President of the Trebi Kuma Ollennu Foundation for Community Development. She holds a degree in Intercultural Studies from Vanguard with a rich cultural experience spanning from Asia through to Europe and to Africa. She has served in various capacities in the African Diaspora Nonprofit sector here in Edmonton for more than 10 years. She is a French immersion teacher by profession with a degree in education from University of Alberta's Campus St. Jane. Ladies and gentlemen, please click on the applause icons on your screens to welcome our moderator for the 2025 Stories of Impact, Essilfua Foster. Over to you, Essilfua.
Thank you.
Hi, thank you so much for that wonderful introduction. I'm grateful to be here. I'm going to start off by introducing our panelists that will be speaking today. So first, there's John Atayaboa. He's a science graduate from Brandon University, Manitoba, and holds a University of Alberta B.Commerce. He has worked as an auditor for Alberta Treasury Department and in Alberta Municipal Affairs, and as a business analyst and account manager in Alberta Agriculture. He is currently a financial advisor as well. Then we have Chantal Lanji Dang, and she is a public health community director. Chantal is a trained French teacher and sexual health educator and has received several awards, including the Prix du Larry, Prix Paul, from Association Canadienne Française d'Alberta. That's a Canadian French association. The Phil Fraser Award from the Black Coalition of Canada, and Prix Suzanne Lamy Thibodeau of Coalition des Femmes de l'Alberta, just to name a few. Then we have Pierre Mwamba. Pierre is the host of the Tam Tam International Media Society program for Radio Cité Edmonton, and he's a journalist and a social activist. We also have Agnes Somoa. Agnes is the program manager for Sincunia Community Development Organization. She's a teacher by profession with a Bachelor of Education from the University of Education, Ghana. She also holds an MA in Education from Athabasca University. So these will be our panelists for today. So we'd love to get to know them a little bit more and a little bit more about what they do. So we will start with John. Could you please tell us about your connection to Edmonton and why you've made it your home?
I don't see John.
Is John here?
He's probably trying to connect.
Okay, we will move on to Agnes. Agnes, do you mind sharing with us your connection to Edmonton and why you moved here?
I see Atoyaboa, is it?
John, are you here?
Atoyaboa, isn't it?
Please unmute. John? Okay, whilst he's trying to figure out, let's go to the next person.
Sure. So Agnes, do you mind responding to that question, sharing about your connection to Edmonton and why you've made it your home?
Thank you, Essie. So Edmonton has been a home for me for the past 15 to 16 years. And it is not by choice, but by travel, I found myself here to work as a nanny, and I think I've loved it for the past 15 years. It is a place that I love because I see the snow and I hate the snow. But it is the confluence of all of that that makes Edmonton a special place. I always look at the sun in -39 and I always say I've had the opportunity to see the 8 wonders of the world. And that's why I love Edmonton.
That's wonderful. Thank you for sharing that. And yes, the snow is very beautiful. Pierre, are you here?
Yes, I'm there.
Awesome. Do you mind sharing with us your connection to Edmonton and why you've made it your home?
Okay, thank you so much. I would like, first of all, to say congratulations to the organization. I'm very excited. This is a good opportunity to express ourselves and to celebrate the Black community. Anyway, I touched in Edmonton in 1998 from Montreal. Montreal is a big city, and me, my wife, and our 3 beautiful children, we said, let's look where we can go. As we are in the community, I met someone from Haiti. He was in Montreal. He said to me, hey, look, go to the Alberta. And from there, we decided, and my wife and the 3 children, we came to Edmonton. Why Edmonton? This is a big question. I like it. I love it. Edmonton, we figured out it was a safe and healthy place. We can develop job. We can develop relationship with people. I met Flora and John, special people. I remember them, almost now 25 years with them. I learned a lot. Edmonton is a healthy place. Our children grow up and we are so happy now. We have our grandchildren and we made Edmonton home where there is a community. I'm community leader and I reach many people, we talk. I think it's a good place.
Thank you so much for sharing, Pierre. Yes, I'm so glad that Edmonton is so safe and that there's community here. Chantal, do you mind also answering that question, your connection to Edmonton and why you've made it your home?
Chantal? Chantal, Ici?
I'm here. I need to unmute my phone, my micro. Could you hear me?
Oui.
Could you see me as well?
Oui.
Oui, okay. Thank you, Flora, for putting this event and in order to allow us to have a space and to exchange. And I'm glad to reconnect with some faces that I know for sometimes, and I'm also glad to connect with new faces as well. So I made Edmonton home for economic reasons, and I was struggling to find a job. I was in Montreal at that time, a job in my area of studies, and I was unable to secure a steady job. So I decided, my family and myself, to come to Edmonton and to make Edmonton home. And I work in the field where I study as a journalist for CBC French, and then move on to what I'm doing now. It's the Madeleine Sanam Foundation to just help African Canadian women and who living with HIV who have lived experience with HIV.
Thank you so much for sharing that.
There I am.
And that work that you're doing. Is John now here and available?
Yes, so I'm here.
Awesome.
Do you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay.
Yeah, so we were wondering what your connection to Edmonton is and why you chose to make it home.
Yeah, okay. First of all, I commend all of you, the newcomers. I've been in Edmonton for the past 50 years.
Uncle John, we need to see your face.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's fine. I've been in Edmonton for the past 50 years. And I came to Edmonton by accident, in the sense that I found U of A. When I finished my first degree in Manitoba, I wanted to find out where I would go, because my first degree was in science, and the purpose of my my education was to be a doctor, medical doctor, and I didn't get in. So I worked for a while to find out where I should go, and I decided to go into business at the time, and I found U of A was the cheapest. So that's how I ended up in Edmonton, and I never regretted, because when I got into Edmonton after I finished my degree, there was lots of challenges. First of all, I should digress a little bit that when I came to Edmonton, because of racism, I couldn't get a rental accommodation. So I stayed in a YMCA for 30 days looking for accommodation. And nobody would rent accommodation to me because of my skin color. And so I stayed at the University of Alberta hostel for 2 years during the duration of my business. So then after I finished, I became an activist. I was involved in 3 other organizations, and there it's where I am until I retired. Right now, most of my contemporaries are all dead or moved away, so there are not many of us left in Edmonton. That's 50 years ago. So I really commend all of you, the newcomers, that you are still carrying the torch. As Samora said, luta continua. So that's how I found Edmonton. At the time, it wasn't a good place to be as a Black man. So that's my story.
Thank you so much, John, for sharing your story and for sharing about what Edmonton was like before and how far we've come. And hopefully, as we continue these discussions, we'll see the impact that we're having in our society, and we'll be able to move forward as well. So thank you for sharing that. We are going to dive a little bit deeper into what our panelists do. So we will start with Pierre.
Yes.
I will ask this in French. Parlez-nous un peu de votre rôle au sein de votre organisation et de ce qui la rend spéciale pour vous, pour la communauté de la diaspora africaine et pour la ville. So tell us a little bit about your role in your organization and what makes it special to you and the African diaspora community and for the city as well.
Merci. Tu veux que je parle en français un peu?
Oui, merci.
OK, merci beaucoup pour cette belle question. C'est une belle question et je vais faire de l'anglais, du français à l'anglais très vite. La communauté, c'est un concept large et divers, vraiment large et divers, que je trouve c'est une place où je me ressource personnellement, je me ressource dans la communauté. Je vais donner un exemple de la communauté, par exemple la communauté congolaise où je suis là-dedans, j'ai un impact, j'aime beaucoup le titre de Story Impact, c'est quelque chose de bien. Et je voudrais dire ceci, il y a deux choses dans la vie, il y a la géographie et l'histoire. Dans la communauté, nous avons la géographie et l'histoire. Là, nous faisons une communauté. Ce que nous sommes en train de faire, c'est une communauté large, vraiment concept, qu'elle soit spirituelle, virtuelle ou physique. I was just saying that community is a large concept and diverse. For me, it's a place where I got inspiration, like my church where I meet people in the Congolese community. Is a place where I go to learn people, to understand, to connect, to connect. I always say, without community, there's no life. That's it me. That's it me. I think a community is a place where we are inspired, impact, we learn, we connect, and we develop. Even the government of Canada is investing money in the community. It's where you find kind of people. And the other thing, I'm very involved with Black community, Asian, Jamaican, the community of Gabon, Chad, Mali, Togo, Ivory Coast. I figure out we have the same problem. Discrimination, rejection, and challenge that. And it's where we can get things. But community has to be, ou bien communauté, la communauté doit être une place où il y a la sécurité. You find yourself safe in safe environment. Où il y a une relation, une bonne relation, healthy relationship, où tu peux aussi te développer. That's what I would like to say for the community.
Thank you so much for sharing that, and also your breakdown of what community is. And it's so true that having safety is very important. We all want to belong, and so thank you for sharing that and what your role is in your organization as well. Agnes, do you mind telling us about your role in your organization and what makes it special to you, the community, and the city?
Thank you. I am currently the program manager of Synconia Community Development Organization. For me, it feels so fulfilling working as a program manager. Like you said in the intro, I was originally a teacher. And one thing that I find so challenging is being bound by curriculum. I'm really a fun-loving person who don't normally pay attention to details. And I'm sorry, but that's how I am. I just like doing stuff in messy areas because I grew up in a farm. So when I find myself in Synconia, what really fulfills me is that I get the opportunity to design programs looking at the project outline and objectives that the fund, those who are providing the funding, requires of us. And as a result of that, I'm able to break boundaries to bring in different ideas that will make it more fun than just designing a curriculum and achieving what I used to do in the classroom. So for me, as a program manager, every day I wake up thinking so many crazy things in my head, trying it. Sometimes it works, sometimes it fails. But there's something that I always say is not so much about the end result, but the fact that we are doing, we are engaging, we are making people happy along the journey of achieving those outlines and objectives. Bring me the best of joy every day.
Thank you so much for sharing that. And it's so cool to hear those areas that do bring you joy and the ways that you serve as well. John, could you also please tell us about your role in your organization and what makes it special to you? John?
I was involved in 3 organizations. One of them, the Ghana Friendship Association, we founded it 50 years ago. The other 2 are now not, they are inactive. So what happened was we became active and had a liaison link with other organizations, but we fought the system of anti-Black in Edmonton. So basically, that's what I did, and I was very active until I found out. At the time, I was working for the government, and I found that I would do better by getting away from the government because I couldn't have the freedom to organize. So I moved into financial services, business, hoping that I would help the Black community to manage their finances, and that's why I'm still in that business. Although I'm turning 80 this year, and I'm going to retire soon. But I'm glad I've met quite a few of Black people who are now in the financial services business, which make me happy and hopeful in the sense that when I'm gone, there will be some other people in the industry who is taking over from me. So that's where I am.
Thank you so much for sharing, and it's great to hear that there's people that will be carrying forward that work. Chantal, could you also please share with us your role in your organization, what makes it special to you and the community and for the city as well?
Of course, thank you. I retired from a radio host since the pandemic hit because it became difficult for me to manage technology from home. So in the morning, usually I teach public servants who would like to become fully bilingual and move on their career or their profession. And in the afternoon, I volunteer as a president of the Madeleine Sanam Foundation. So I usually do the paperwork, which involves applying for grants, of course, redesigning or updating our programs, making contacts, connecting with the stakeholders, responding to our clients, and ensuring that they receive services they need and deserve. So I help them navigate in the system, in the health system, and I help them also find a job, I direct them to different service providers who could help them find a job. So choosing the appropriate schools for their children, and making sure that they could access food, and it's like I'm an immigrant settler. Well, so that's what I do with African Canadian women, newcomers, and sometimes who move from one province, different from province, to come to live in Alberta. That's what
Thank
I
you
do
so much
on
for
my
sharing.
daily living.
That's great, and it's great to have people like you who are able to point people in the right direction and to get the services that they need. So yeah, thank you, Chantal, John, Pierre, and Agnes for answering that question. We're going to move on to another question about community. What does community mean to you, and where do you find it? I know a lot of us have different definitions. Over time with your work, what would you say community is to you? And why don't we go back actually to Chantal, if you would start us off with that.
Chantal or me?
Oh,
Chantal.
oh, it's me? Oh, okay. What does community mean to me, and where I find it? So the community is a place I belong to. For instance, the place I identify myself with my peers through ideas, project developments, economic growth, and well-being. So sometimes I like to say I extending my motherhood to my community. So every day, that's what I could define as what the community do for me.
That's lovely. Thank you for sharing. Et Pierre, parlons-nous de la communauté signifie pour vous?
Yeah, your question is very good. I like it. I love it. Community, as I said before, is a place where you grow up, where you are inspired, where you get to go to connect with other people. Without community, there's no life. There is no life. And what I do in community, I will be very humble. People said to me, I discovered it from people. They said, you are a caring person. Oh, I said, oh, you said to me, I'm a caring person. That's great, thank you. I learn from people. And I said, okay, you cannot be a caring person yourself. You have to go in the community. It doesn't matter for me. The community can be, I don't know, for native or white, but you will get something. But the community has to be, first of all, safe. A place very safe, secure, healthy, and you can empower people. If it's not safe, it's difficult for you to give what you want to give. What I do, I guide people, empower people, new migrant. I don't know. People will come just to me like, oh, I would like to know this thing. I would like to start this business. I would like to do this. I say, hey, there's no problem. Go this place. You can do it. Or I will guide him. Find the person. Like I saw, John is there. I have some people, even from Toronto, they're asking me for financial advice. I said, yeah, I know someone. You can meet him, you can talk. They ask me, is he a good person? I say, yes, he's a good person. And they will, as I said, community is a capital for me. Very capital, very capital. I cannot live without community. Community starts in the family with people who know you, and you go in the society. Even though now I'm journalist, I figure out I have to go everywhere. I'm running from a meeting, like last week I was with the Asian community over there, celebrating with them. The other things, I went to the other community, I don't know those people, Indian people, Pakistan people. We meet together. You see, it's a diverse, but it's a place we learn, we are inspired to. It's a capital for me.
Thank you so much for sharing that. And I appreciate that you brought up safe communities again and how you talked about being a safe person. It sounds like you're a safe person for many people. And because of that, there's community that's growing. And so that's an encouraging thing for all of us to be safe people so that we can promote and encourage safe communities. Mm-hmm. John, can you please share with us what you think community is, what it means to you, and where you find it?
Yeah, there's an African proverb that we are involved in a kind of what is called a global village, which means we as a community belong to a diverse community, and therefore that we have to have interdependence. One man cannot fight a dozen, so we have to depend on each other, but we are not a homogeneous community, and once we are interdependent on each other, we can fight the system, and that's what we've been doing over the past 50 years, as I said before. When I came to Edmonton, I couldn't get accommodation, so I had to stay in YMCA for 1 whole month, trying to get accommodation. Right now, that system of anti-black is removed, and because we fought the system as interdependent, we linked with various organizations to fight the system. So from here on, it's the same thing that we have to do, to interconnect with each organization and each members of ethnic organizations or ethnic individuals. We have to link with them and move forward. That's what I feel the community involvement should be. We shouldn't isolate ourselves in one area, but link with other community organizations and individuals to move forward.
Thank you so much for sharing that, and I definitely agree. There's definitely power in community. And Agnes, do you mind answering as well that question about what community means to you and where you find it?
Thank you. I think I will echo what the speakers have already said, that community is a place where I feel safe and a place where I can knock my shoes off and run around, that nobody will criticize me. It means that I can go there and heal. And I think if you listen to John 50 years ago, it wasn't possible for that kind of feeling. So being here for me today is to create that space where people can come to and ask questions and say, where can I find this? And if I have the capacity to show them or to direct them, it gladdens my heart that I am able to provide that kind of support. It may not mean much, but I look back, it's not about 50 years ago when they didn't have chili pepper here. But when people come to ask me, I feel so glad that, go to Kaswa. And for that alone, it may not mean anything to somebody, but it may answer a lot of questions for a new immigrant who have just walked into our door. And for me, that is the space I see community.
Thank you so much for sharing that, Agnes. And actually, Agnes, we'll start with you with the next question. You were talking about are you being a leader in your organization and the work that you do in your community. So as a leader, what similarities do you see in the power of healing and the power of community?
Thank you. So I see a community as my body. If every part of my body is working well, I feel great. So if part of my body is not doing well, then I'm not feeling well. Like I have stomach ache, I have headache, and I'm running around. So if we are able to create that wholesome space, then we are also creating healing. And with healing, I look at it from the point of trauma. When I left everything back home to travel to Canada, I was coming for all the things that I hear from the Western world. But arriving here, I found myself that I've left a greater part of me, and that alone was so traumatic that if I didn't get the space where I can even talk to people about how I miss my husband, how I miss my children, how my 18-month-old daughter, like, if I don't have a space to share that, then it is bottled in, and gradually it will translate into so many things. And that is what I see. Like people like John, who has been here for 50 years, I can imagine the challenge of coming here, and for just the sheer color of his skin, he cannot find a space. And when he look back in his home country, where maybe he comes from a big family with a big house, with a compound where people are steaming and cooking and doing everything, and then finding himself here in a small room, even that he cannot even pay for because of the color of his skin, that will be so traumatic. And gradually, as they have fought for us to come and inherit all that they fought for, then we have created that space for a lot of people to heal. I don't think the trauma that I went through will be the same thing that somebody, like every day I have new people who come to our door. Some people have been here for just a month, and they come and they're like, there's Kenke here. I'm telling you, people just walk into our kitchen, and then when they see Kenke, they feel like, oh, I feel like home today. There was one lady somebody gave my number to. She was on the street downtown crying, and somebody says, go and talk to Agnes. So I was there and she called. And when she came, for me, not even listening to her, I have abotoyua in my office. We grounded pepper. I have sardine. And I'm like, eat. I didn't want to hear what she said. And when she left, she said, Auntie, thank you so much. You have made me feel like I can stay. And that is the healing I want to see.
Thank you so much for sharing that. And I can imagine the difference between now and today, having people who can help people feel welcome versus years ago where it wouldn't have been as easy. And so it's so cool to see how we've progressed as a society and how we can continue to progress and be that safe space for those who are new to Canada and for those in the Black community as well. John, can you please share with us, can you please share with us, as a nonprofit leader, what similarities you see in the power of healing and the power of community? John, are you there? Okay, we'll come back to him. Pierre, would you be able to answer that question for us, please?
Okay, thank you so much. Merci beaucoup. Your question is very complex and hard to respond, but let me explain in this way. Healing is personal. Is in you believe, you have your faith, you will get healing. But as I said when we start, without community, there is no life. If you combine the two, you will win. If you stay by yourself as a community leader, okay, I will do the stuff myself, I have the knowledge, or I will get healing, it's very difficult. It's a long process. We find the healing when we combine ourselves or we interconnect with others in the community. We will see the power of the community to go together. It will push us to go together. Let me explain it the other way, ou bien je vais l'expliquer d'une autre façon. Pour le moment, ce que nous sommes en train de faire, c'est déjà le healing. It's a process of healing. Nous sommes en train de faire tomber les barrières entre nous, des mauvaises compréhensions entre nous. C'est déjà un processus qui nous amène vers la communauté. I was saying what we are doing just right now, we are processing a healing because we are putting down the obstacle, the challenge. When I will finish with you, I will take this one and give to other people. I believe there is, in the community, there is a power. It's difficult to find the similarity, but I think we process it together and we can reach. It's a very tricky and complex question.
Mhm. Merci pour partager, pour dire que le processus maintenant et qu'est-ce qui a fait la guérison maintenant. So thank you for sharing about how the process that we're doing right now is bringing healing and the work that we're doing in our community is bringing healing.
Yes.
Thanks for sharing that. And Chantal, do you mind also sharing what you see as the similarities between those two things?
Indeed, as Pierre said, is a really complex question. Healing from what? This is the first question I have to ask. As an African Canadian woman, we live with various wounds that we carry through our life. So I would say, as a mother, the process of healing starts right after the birth. Right after the birth. So right after giving the baby, I don't know if I put it on the right way. So despite all the trauma you have gone through, the natural process of delivering a baby, you need to stand right back on your feet because the baby is waiting to be fed, right? Is waiting to be guided, is waiting to be educated. And more importantly, I would say, the baby is waiting to be introduced to the community.
Yes.
As you see your child or your children grow and become a young adults, start exploring various communities because there is not only one community, there's many communities. So there's a school, the friends, community leagues, etc., etc. As you see this child or children exploring various communities themselves, that's what I call the power. It's the power of the community because it takes the village, right? To raise a child. It takes the entire village. As for the power of a community, I could add, so to be lifted, you need a community. So if the community recognizes on you that you are a leader, then you become a leader. You cannot improvise yourself as a leader. A leader process, you have to be chosen, you have to be picked from, I would say, the wise community, wise man, wise woman. That's the way I see the balance or the power of community and the power of healing. And that was the angle that I wanted to develop.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate that analogy that you shared with the mother and giving birth and the healing that comes after that. And also how in community we can call out those giftings that we have. So thank you so much for sharing that. And John, are you there to answer this question?
Yes, I'm here. Do you hear me?
Yes, we hear you.
Okay. So far as I'm concerned, I think the healing is very important in the sense, myself, for example, because of what I've been through over the past 50 plus years, what I've been through. So I impart that to the community as well, and especially you young people, that you shouldn't be bitter because of your past experience, but rather look forward and improve on what we have achieved to this point. And once that is, if you depend on your past experience, you become a slave to the system. And therefore, what we need to do is to forget the past, make the past become a guide for improvement for the generation that is coming. So that's my my advice to the community members, that don't let the past experience enslave you,
Mhm.
but rather use it as a guide to continue to fight the system. As Samora Michel said, that a luta continua, which means the fight continues. And therefore, don't be idle. Don't let you be bound by your past experience to become inactive and immobile, but use the past experience as an urge to move forward. That's all I can say to you, because if I did have my experience hold me down, I wouldn't have contributed with other organization members to move forward where you are now. That for today, for example, if you are Black, you can live anywhere in the city, where in my days, that was not the case.
Thank you so much for sharing, and I really appreciate how you talked about not staying in bondage to our past. It reminds me of a scripture in Isaiah that says that we should forget the former things because God is doing new things. It says, see, he is doing some new things. And yeah, God is doing new things. We can see how our community is healing. We can see the different, again, processes that are being created so that we can create more community. So I really appreciate what you shared there, John. And John, was there anybody that helped mentor you or who helped set you on this path?
Well, in my days, there wasn't any mentor as such, because we were the originators of the activism in the community. But what happened was we linked with other organizations. For example, in my days, I was very involved, and of course, as a founder of the Ghana Friendship Association, and we linked with other organizations like JANA, Jamaica Association of Northern Alberta, for example. And when we linked together, we were able to fight the system at the time. So that's what I will say. Not only to depend on individuals. We didn't have mentorship as such, but we were able to link with other organizations and members to move forward.
Mm-hmm. Thank you for sharing. Yes, it's the power in numbers for sure. Pierre, est-ce que tu peux parler à nous à propos de quelqu'un qui peut-être a servi de mentor?
OK. Merci beaucoup. Bien, le monde change très vite. Nous changeons très vite. Pourquoi? À cause the power of community. This question, the answer is giving the answer to number 4. The world is changing very fast, very fast. Today, I don't know where you are. I don't know where is John. I don't know where is the two ladies, but we connect. We connect, and mentorship now, it's easy, very easy. You open the book, you can read. Somebody can be, I don't know, let me check a name, Tokyo, to Tokyo right now. He can connect with us and get and be mentorship. We can guide him. He can understand things. And as I said, the answer is already there. The power of the community is mentoring people now. What we are doing, you are mentoring me to guide me, to do my stuff, to understand where I can do what I did is not good. Now I understand. I think it's easy now. Not you don't need just someone. You can have someone who can mentorship you. It's okay, but personally, I find it in community because of my connection. As I said first, I'm everywhere. Right now, I'm with Nepal community, talking with them, learning with them, learning their religion. You see, we are mentored by the community. It's your question number 4. This is the answer.
Thank you so much, Piat. I love how you expanded that and expanded what mentorship can look like, and I really appreciate that. And Chantal, what about you?
Sorry about that. Yeah, sorry about that. I'm trying to unmute
No worries.
my micro. Yeah, indeed. As John said, when I came to Canada back to 1985, and when I landed at Mirabel Airport, who doesn't exist anymore, we didn't have any what can I say, service providers for immigration at that time to direct you, to help you throughout the system, to find a house, to find an accommodation, school, and so on. So I would say after I graduated from university, I really wanted to become a journalist, and the goal was to just get off all read negative images that was circulating in the media, all the stereotypes about Black people. At that time, it was Ethiopian people seen on TVs, skinny, boneless, and I was quite upset. And I said, my goal is, if I ever been selected to take on a position of reporter, I would show to the world or Canadian that Africa is beautiful. We have food, we have green lands, we have forest. So when I entered to CBC with the process of, it was a contest called in French Nouveau Visage, that means new faces, right? They wanted to integrate or to include people that they call people of color in the broadcast. So when I entered, I took over that position. All my dream, I have to put aside all my dreams to show Africa in the nicest angle. And at that time, there was a Senegalese director. I was lucky, and Ousseynou, he told me that, Chantal, you have to be patient. You cannot change the world. When I started working in this field in this country, I could see myself in you, upset, trying to change the image that they were projecting at that time. So he was my mentor. He said, you have to be patient. You have to, because news is not about showing nice stuff. News is about showing what's going wrong. So war, catastrophes, and so on, disaster. And I say, well, okay, I will still do that, but as longer as you allow me to remove all the stereotypes. So Black guys kill 10 people. Why they never said white guys kill 10 people in this area, in this neighborhood? If you allow me to remove all these stereotypes when I'm writing my story, and then I will say, you say, no problem. You have the power to remove all these stereotypes, but if it could make a difference for you or for the listeners, I let you do your job. So I was lucky. He guided me. He asked me to be patient. He asked me, if you need changes, you have to go slowly. If you're trying to come, with all your big feet or whatever, you will hit the hole. You just have to listen, observe, be patient, and then you will see the change will come. And this is the way I've learned that even you have a big intention to change things, it won't happen right away. You have to be, you have to learn how to be, and you have to be wise also. You have to be wise and do things slowly.
Thank you so much for sharing that. And I'm glad to hear that your mentor spoke to you in that way, and that today you can share that knowledge to us today.
As an African dad, I was so lucky. He was an African dad. It wasn't like he was my director. When he sat me down, and I remember I have an argument, a kind of fight with a technician in the newsroom. He called me in his office, closed the door. He said, sit down. And he spoke to me as a dad. Mm-hmm. That was the way I was able to listen to him. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, probably I would have quit. Thank you.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, again, thank you for sharing with us about who mentored you. And Agnes, was anybody that mentored you or helped set you on your path?
Thank you so much. So, on my life path, there have been hundreds of people that have really impacted my life. But when I look at my journey in the nonprofit, my boss comes to my mind, Issa Kamara. I joined Synconia as a volunteer in 2009, I think just 1 year after I arrived in Canada. And he has given me that space. I want to explain that, where, like I told you, I don't like being bounded by curriculum and so many restrictions. So that room to grow was given to me by my boss. And every time I go to him with a crazy idea that, oh, I think if we do this, we'll be able to achieve the goals of this project, he said, go ahead, go for it. There are times when I have so many challenges, especially when we started working with practicum students from both Northwest and University of Alberta. Sometimes I get a lot upset by so many things. There's something that he always tells me. He said, Agnes, you know, these people are new as we were new. They are struggling with so many things. So coming to practicum is the least thing they have their minds on now. So give them room to grow, because when they leave here, they are also going to go to another organization, It's like a continuum. So you cannot fix them. And that really impacted me so much. And then there was this lady in at the city, the government, the city of Edmonton. Her name is, I don't know whether she's still there. Her name is Mary Gallivan. So in the nonprofit world, there's always two things I don't like. It's the reporting and budgeting. I am not a mathematician. Math give me so many challenges, even like health problem. When I look at numbers, I get confused. So every time when we started as a nonprofit, I think our yearly budget was around 7,000. And then when we received this small funding from the city, at the end of the year, I have to send in the report. And most of the time, it was chaos. It was mess. And she will call me and she said, Agnes, can you come? Let's meet at lunch. Then I will go. We'll sit down and she will show me, okay, you know, this one, you have to put it this way. And why do you have this receipt? Why do you have a toothpaste mixed with food? Like, so all these things were so much open to me. And then I used to complain to her. So she said, oh, so how many in the whole year? Give me a rough number of kids. Then I'll start like, you know, these are our parents. I will set up and they will not bring the kids. And she said, listen to me, Agnes. You have your part of the bargain and they have their part of the bargain. You get the funding, you rent a place, you set up, you get your lunch and your snack ready, you dress up like the way you are dressed up, and you sit there and you wait for the kids. If two people come, preach to them like you are preaching to a stadium. If all of them come, if nobody come, I don't want you to feel that you have failed. You fulfilled your part of the bargain. It is left with the parents to bring the kids, and if they don't bring them, it's not your fault. It was ding. And I have used that to run most of the programs. Now we have a lot of kids that come to our program, but in those days when you set up for 50 and only 2 or 7 show up, I thought I was failing. And she lifted up my spirit, and I have held on to that, and I'm growing.
Thank you so much for sharing, Agnes, and for sharing about those 2 people who really encouraged you. And again, that's an encouragement to us. So whenever we're starting something, it might start small, but to continue and to press on, and we'll see eventually that things will change and that things will grow and that we can impact the society. So that's great. Thank you. So we're going to move just to into the direction of questions. Are there any questions for our panelists? Feel free to unmute your mic and share a question, or if you'd like to put a question in the chat, you can do so as well. And any of our panelists, feel free to answer the question if you feel interested to share something about it, or if they call on you as well.
There's a question in the chat room. You want to check it out?
Can you please read the question, because I am on.
So the question is directed to Pierre. It said, in a sea of mentorships, mentorship offers, how does one navigate to the right mentor?
Oh, yeah, question to me?
Yes.
Okay.
It says in a sea of there are so many mentors in this world, like so many people who are offering mentorships. How do you navigate the right mentor for you as a non-profit leader?
Okay, yeah, your question is very, 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 very good. I like it. How I navigate? I think personally, observe and listen to one mentorship. Like always read the former president of United States, Barack Obama. Barack Obama. I read the books and I see him as a president. I said, this is mentoring me. Is mentoring me. How this person came from a family, poor family, no dad, he became the president of the United States, and very humble person. The way he speak, the way he convey by himself is not I'm not saying he's a perfect person, but I figure out he was someone who's mentoring me far away. I never met him, I never talked to him, but through watching and reading books, I got something for him. But there is a lot of people I learn from them, a lot of people.
So what about, like, for example, because there are so many, the thing is there are so many mentors, but as a non-profit leader,
okay,
because everybody has their own arena that they work, right? We're all defined by the visions that we are trying to, or our mandate.
Okay.
So how do you, because yeah, we can learn from a lot of people, but as a non-profit leader, how do you determine which non-profit leader or person who is in whatever, how do you determine which one to actually understudy and learn from? I'm asking all of you, and Pierre has spoken, so this
okay, they can respond to
everybody. It's for everybody, not just for you.
Okay, thank you. They can respond.
So anybody else wants to? Chantal, you want to speak to that? Chantal?
Yes, I'm having trouble unmuting my micro. I would say, there is no best way to find for a mentor. You may need to, if you are a newcomer, you may need to be guided, and depends on your field of interest. So if you want to become an entrepreneur, a business person, I believe sometimes if you're a newcomer, you need to talk to people and see if there's a way of matching you with somebody who has gone through become an entrepreneur, to mentor you if that person have time. So I believe now with the university they have quite a good system, and then students now could be like Black students that are attending some university. You could be a match with a professional that work on your field of interest. Before you graduate, you have somebody who will guide you. Maybe you meet with that person once a month or a week on a weekly basis. So and then if you're happy with that mentor, fine. If you're not happy, you could choose to find another one. This is my advice to people that want to navigate and trying to get a good mentor for them. It's a matter of dedicate a time and then really truly help the person that really wish to be integrated in this society. Am I answered the question right? I'm not sure.
There's no right answer or wrong answer, so we're all learning, so that's great. Essilfua, you want to take over now?
Yeah, that's great. Thank you for that answer, Chantal. We'll move on to our next questions. So our next question is, how do you hope to help shape Edmonton's African Diaspora Nonprofit community? How about we start with John for this question?
Well, in my case, I'm retired, and of course, at the time we had only one major goal, that is to rid the system of racism. And up to this point, I think our goal has been achieved, in the sense that those of you who go to university, especially Alberta, for example, you don't have any fear of discrimination that your professor would, grade you on the basis of your skin color and not on your knowledge. So that has been achieved. The other achievement is in the system right now, you can live anywhere that you choose to live, as opposed to in my days it wasn't the case. So that means we have achieved the major goal that we set ourselves, so that the newcomers, you are enjoying this kind of freedom and anti-racism. So from now on, there are other avenues that other goals that the newcomers will have to focus on. And as you have seen from these discussions, there are other goals like how to empower the Black community, the diaspora, to become self-sufficient in terms of entrepreneurship and other areas. Also, what guided us in those days, as I say, we didn't have any mentor as such, but we were guided from the country leadership that we came from. For example, when I came to Canada, as a student, my home country's leadership, Kwame Nkrumah, for example, was my guiding principle. Michelle Samora was my guidance principle. And so on and so forth. So first of all, I knew who I was. I didn't have to be dependent on somebody to tell me who I am. And secondly, there's a proverb called said in Latin, "Carpe diem," which means seize the opportunity, and also that comes with what is called festina lente, make haste slowly. Take the opportunity and also make haste slowly, which means we linked with each organization and those in power at the time to make sure certain things are done for the community. And that's what got us involved, and we were able to achieve what individually we could not achieve.
Thank you so much for sharing, John. And I also wanted to quickly say that there's also, for example, myself, someone of African descent, we also get to benefit from the work that you and other people from your generation have done so that things are a little bit easier for us. So we are grateful for that. Agnes, how do you hope to help shape Edmonton's African Diaspora Nonprofit community?
Thank you. Yeah, so I think from my point of view, I see a lot of nonprofit, even for the short period compared to John that have been here. There's been a lot of nonprofit that has folded up for a number of reasons. And I see new ones springing up. We've talked about community and the power of support. So that is what I want to see the nonprofit world in Edmonton begin to embrace. I come from a culture where when I was a kid, when after school is over, we were assembled in our church, and then the exams record will be called first position, second position, third position. But I have come to live in a culture where if all of us get 90, we can all get A. A is not in scarcity where we give A to one person. And then imagine if there are 30 people in your class and they've mentioned up to the 25 and your name has not been mentioned. Automatically you feel defeated. But this is not the culture I found, thanks to people like John, Flora, who have really lived a life to fight the system for us to find ourselves where we are. I want to see holding of hands. I want to see more collaboration and no competition, no backbiting, reporting people, oh, the money that you give to this organization, they didn't use it, they bought a car for themselves, and then the next year the organization is not getting and the government is after them. I've seen a lot in my little lifetime with a lot of organizations, but I've also seen a great sun or a great light popping up to see some of us who call ourselves veterans holding hands of other new organizations and helping them to stabilize. Because there's a caption I saw on Facebook that the sea or the ocean is big enough for all of us. Don't sink anybody's boats. And that's what I want to see in this nonprofit. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And thank you for sharing that encouraging quote as well. Chantal, can you share with us how you hope to shape your community, your African community's nonprofit?
Indeed, as Ya mentioned, it's very important to work together, not to compete against each other. I think we, and particularly myself, I participated in creating of the Africa Center. I could see that Joseph Lurie is here. Maybe Joseph may add something. When the city of Edmonton called us and asked us to think about what we needed, because we used to help politicians to achieve their goal by being elected. At the end, you ended up not having anything. And some of the African leaders said we cannot keep going like that. We need a legacy. We need a place. We need a space where we all could meet together. And what that idea of creating an umbrella of Pan-Africanist, of Pan-African institution who's going to gather everybody together and listen and act and create and what we believe we needed to make our community grow. So to myself, I believe that the unity, it's very important, and there's a space for everybody indeed, but there is also a complementary. So I would say we mainly need to learn how to work together. And I'm not sure that I have that capacity and strength, to be honest, to shape this growing Africa diaspora, but I could do my part in the field that I believe I have skills. So I believe in pyramid governance, which means learning from the community at the ground level and listening. So to move that reflection further, we should get youth involved in the nonprofit sector. So when I'm saying youth, because my generation is not my daughter's generation, it won't be my granddaughter's generation, and so on. So they may identify themselves as African descent, but not on the way I see myself when I came here as a young woman to pursue my dream. So I'm referring, for example, to the Gen Z, or how do you say that, Gen Z?
Gen Z, yeah.
Gen Z generation. When we discuss, we probably have the same goal. We have to tackle the same obstacle, but we don't have maybe the same way of achieving it. So it's very important that what we build and we involve them by giving them a space for innovative ideas and concepts.
Thank you so much for sharing your perspective, Chantal. And Pierre, how do you hope to help shape Edmonton's African Diaspora Nonprofit community?
Ok, merci beaucoup. Merci pour votre question. As I was connecting with Flora, I said I was very excited. I'm very excited with this forum, with this event. When I read all the question, I said, oh, that's good. There is a power in your question. You said hope. Where there is hope, there is life. I like it. I would like to say not just African diaspora, but I would like to say, if you allow me, African and the Caribbean diaspora. Why? Because I figure out we have the same problem. We already said it. We have the same problem: discrimination, racism, rejection, I don't know, injustice. We have the same problem. Maybe the accent, it's probably the difference, maybe the accent, but the main point, we have the same problem, the same problem. To shape this diaspora, you need to have a passion. If you don't have a passion, you cannot. You can do. If you have a passion for something, you will do it. What you are doing now, you are shaping me. We are shaping my community. We are shaping everything, what we are doing right now. And what I can do, because I have a passion with community. As we said, the community, there is a power of a community. Without the community, we can do nothing. Even, she said it, even my passion, what I have, mon talent de ma communauté, tout ça. S'il n'y a pas la communauté, je ne ferai rien. Okay. What I do now, very humble. Let's see how many people we are talking now. I know other people are following us. We have 4 women talking to us and 2 men. Why? On my show, what I start doing, going to the community, is the health for women. If you read the statistic of Canada, they say this: black women are losing their health. First of all, mental problem. We, personally, this is my focus now, talking for mental problem for women, black women. They are losing their life. Stress is very high. They work many hours. They will take care of the family. And I think what I can do just to talk about, to share. Hey, woman, you are beautiful. Black woman, you are strong. Black woman, don't lose your life because of this trend of life. Don't lose your life because of this money. You are special for us, because if we lose you, we lose everything. We lose everything. I focus. I think I can do my best to shape. It's difficult to talk about health for black women and young people. For me, it's very important. On my show in Black History Now, I'm talking just for women. They are beautiful, they are unique, and we need to care for them. We need to encourage them. We need to protect them. That is what I wanna say.
Thank you so much, and thank you for that specific message to women and young people as well. So our next question is, what's one piece of advice you wish you'd had when starting out? And we will go to Agnes for this question.
Thank you. So, one question that I wish Isa had told me is that the platform is empty. You're coming to work to make to populate it. So most of the time when I started with him and when we go, I'm like, where are the kids? Where are the kids? Where are the kids? I didn't know that I was the one to work, to mobilize, to connect with the community, for the parent to trust me, and gradually build that confidence that when Agnes called that we have a program, they feel comfortable to bring their kids, or they feel comfortable to allow me to drive by to pick their kids and drop them back. So in most of the nonprofit, I think when people walk to our office these days, those who want to start, they think, oh, I want to start an organization, I want to register, and I want to do this, and I want to do this. Sometimes when I listen to them, I smile in my head, and I tell them, take it slowly and gradually and build upon. If you have 1 or 2 kids, be consistent with it. Sometimes they feel like once you register an organization, you take your registration to the government or to the funders, then automatically you receive the money. And sometimes it's not like that. There are programs that we run that has been like the parent of all other programs. Whether we get the funding or we don't, we still consistently do the after-school program. So that is what I wish I knew, that it was already a prepared stage, that I was going to go there and work. It wasn't like that.
Thank you for sharing that, and also for highlighting consistency. Yes. And Pierre, what's one piece of advice you wish you had when starting out?
Okay, thank you so much. Merci beaucoup. Piece of advice. We are living in the community. My advice I would like to say is, don't judge people. Don't judge people. No, don't have a bad perception of people. These people they are from African, I don't know, these people are like, no. The advice is to listen to them. Don't look to change them, and respect them. That is the advice I can give. Listen to them, respect them the way they are. Don't look to change them.
Thank you so much. Thanks for sharing that powerful piece of advice. Mm-hmm. And Chantal, what's one piece of advice that you wish you would have had starting out?
When I started, I wish I had money. Yeah, I wish I had money, and I wish I knew how to seek for funding. Why I'm saying that, because you may have a good business plan in place, even a good strategic plan. However, if there's no one to back you up, to back up your idea and support you financially, you will hit the dead end. So, and back to the organization again. I know point out this question, and some organization may choose to adjust their vision, maybe to please their funders, right? But to me, I would say it looks like selling your soul. It looks like selling your soul, and my advice will be, don't sell your soul. It's very important to keep it. You may have the grants that you need, you don't have the money that you need, but you have to stick on your ultimate goal. So, and you don't want the funders to drag you out of your path. So, um, that's what I have to say. I wish, I have the capacity of developing alternate source of funding, because we cannot still relying, on the same funders. Yeah, and maybe it's a time to wake up and see if there is any other alternative, to seek for funding to support the wonderful ideas that the Black diaspora bring.
Mm-hmm. Thank you for sharing that. Thanks for sharing that. Financial support is important, but we should also not lose our path. So we appreciate that. Yeah. And John, what's one piece of advice you wish you'd had when starting out?
Well, in our case, we didn't have the array of grants and funds that you have today. Do you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah. Okay. We didn't have any grants money as you have in various departments, federal, provincial, and municipal level. So what we did was to leverage the power of politicians. So we linked with individual politicians. For example, I'll give you, one example that I had to, at one time, had to connect with the Premier of Alberta, Premier Lougheed. Okay, that's how we got things done. So irrespective of your individual political affiliation or belief, you don't care. You just have the diaspora's goal as a guideline, and you go and connect with politicians to help you achieve whatever goal that you have for your organization. And that's what we went through, because there were no grants at the time for individual organizations as we have today. So that's what we need. We have to strive to get not only the physical grant system, but also to leverage the power of the politicians in whatever level that we will be effective.
Thank you so much for sharing that, John. Moving on to our next question. The next question is, what excites or does not excite you most about Edmonton's nonprofit scene right now? And I know we touched a little bit about that, but yeah, we'll start with that question. Chantal, would you be able to answer that question for us?
Sure. So we know that the landscape of the nonprofit is changing. Now there are many players that emerge, sometimes for good, but also with no background. For instance, they have not done any market analysis to see where the need is, or no market analysis to see what are the existing organizations who are doing the same thing. And sometimes they don't even have no skill for venture or for to start an organization. So that's why the landscape becomes oversaturated. I know some people may say there's a room for everybody. If there's a room for one, there's a room for more than one. So with the African organization, I would say it's important to do the market analysis, and it's very important that you look for existing organization who is already doing the same thing, maybe something different, and work with that organization and see how you could better serve the same community that we all devoted to, that we all really want to help. Right? So that was, I would say, and then you could, you don't. Somebody said about Obama. Obama become president. Obama never gone to school to become a president, so he learned right how to become a president. Surrounded himself with good advisors. But this organization may said we would acquire those skills as we go. We may be able to learn from other organizations, but it's very, very important that because the pie is very small. So as John was saying, the grants now are existing, but still the pie is not that big as we think. So so if everybody wants to start his business, but the business is not for everybody. So as my friend Kasawa used to say, the business is not for everybody.
Thank you for sharing that. That was very insightful. We'll move on to John. What excites you or does not excite you about Edmonton's nonprofit scene right now?
Well, as I say, I've been retired for quite some time now, so I'm not that active in the organizational level as such. So I don't know what is going on with individual nonprofit organizations. But what I know and what I do encourage all of you is get involved, get people involved in whatever organization that you belong to, and have the goal of the organization achieved, because you cannot do everything by yourself. You have diverse goals of individuals belonging to the organization, and that's why you have to encourage and not discourage people from whatever goal they have in mind. You just as a non-profit organization, you just pull together individual goal and then and pursue it. You don't discourage people because what they have, the goal they propose is different from yours, but rather you have to pull together, assess whichever is is worthwhile, and pursue it.
Thank you for that encouragement to us. Agnes, what excites or does not excite you about Edmonton's nonprofit scene right now?
Thank you. So I think for me, speaking from an African organization point of view, after COVID, there are so many things that really have come to excite me. The XBCCI funding, where we have support for Black organizations. And I also see a lot of improvement. I think Chantal will understand me from this point. In Africa Center, the organization, when I came here, I was so much disheartened because I saw Africa Center as an umbrella of organizations that will bring a lot of smaller organizations, support us and help us grow. I didn't see that. But after COVID, I see a lot of support and leadership role that African Center as an organization is taking. Now, I feel safe walking into African Center, asking for support, just sitting down and discussing an idea, bringing our youth activities to them and say, this is what our youth are doing. Is there any funding for it? And I'm able to bridge that conversation. And even if there is no support, there's a way of leading me to another source of funding. So I feel that we are growing. Initially, when we came here, it was like dog eats dog, but gradually, I think that that's settling. And if we hold on to this path, then we are really creating a very strong platform for the next generation that will be taking over from us. I am excited, truly.
Thank you for sharing your excitement. And we will end this question with Pierre. What excites you or does not excite you about Edmonton's nonprofit scene right now?
Yeah, okay. Merci beaucoup pour ta question. Elle est bonne. Your question is very good. I may say this will shock you. My skin of my color skin is a problem in this world. African or black people, I would like to say black people, we live in the community. Where you find black people? In the community. We don't find them, I don't know, big business in the community. You find black people. I'm very excited. Very, very excited because we have the same challenge. Les défis sont énormes pour nous les Noirs. Alors, cet ensemble, je suis vraiment excité à donner quelque chose. Comme disait John, I'm very excited to give something in the black community. Because if we don't do it, we'll go down. We'll go down. I believe in power of the community. It's what I would like to say, because my skin scares people. Somebody said that. Because of just my skin, people are scared. I don't know why. And I believe that the black people, we have to stay in the community, we have to fight, because life with that challenge, there is no life. And we have to acknowledge that we as a black people, we are very resilient, very resilient, very resilient. We went through many problems, but we are there. We are there, and I believe I'm excited what I can do for my children, for my grandchildren, for my friends, for our community. Yeah, we will reach.
That's
Merci beaucoup pour partager et pour l'encouragement. Okay, so we have two more questions here. So the next question is, tell us about the first thing you ever made or did that inspired your career path into the nonprofit world. And we will start with Agnes for this question.
Thank you. So I think the first thing was my reporting after delivering projects. And I am eternally grateful to Mary Gallivan from the city of Edmonton that gave me the opportunity to take charge of some of these. I think you can be talented, but when you are trained to do something, it also helps. So she introduced me to nonprofit accounting short courses in Northwest. And I thought it wouldn't make any difference for my phobia of numbers. But when I took that course, I wasn't afraid of looking at the numbers, the budgets, and even when I'm writing a proposal, I'm able to put these things to use to create a budget to support whatever project. So when I was able to do that, and I started it with the summer camp, we have Rich Edmonton, Rich Edmonton Council, where we have number of organizations that come together to apply for funding for the summer camp. And that was my first attempt in applying for funding to support the program. And when I was able to bridge that in 2014, I have tried that same in different funding. And slowly, I don't tell Issa, no, I can't do that. But gradually, if I can do it, I'm able to try it. So yeah, my phobia of numbers is really slowing down with time.
Thanks so much for sharing that. And John, can you tell us the first thing that ever made you or inspired you into your career path into the nonprofit? We know that you're retired now, but what the first thing was that inspired you? John?
Yeah. Okay. Do you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. As I said, in our case, we were more or less the pioneers we didn't have anyone to follow. So what guided us was to break down the system of anti-Black in our community. So we had to leverage with other organizations and politicians to break down the system. That is what we achieved it. And from here, then, is that you newcomers, you have to build, from that goal. And then, what basically is happening is you, the new generation, will have different goals and purpose for your organization. And later on, personally, when we achieved our initial goal of anti-racism, the next level that we saw was to empower the diaspora to become self-supporting. And that's how I went into wealth service business, so that I will be able to impart to the new generation the management of their money, because in most cases, when the new generation, when they come in, their purpose in most cases is to acquire wealth for themselves and not look at the larger community. So that's where my goal has been individually, to impart the collective wealth of individual diaspora in the system, so that they will be individually self-sufficient and be able to empower themselves and pass it on to their family and generations, so that we will not be always dependent on the community and others as such.
That's great. Thank you for sharing that. And Pierre, can you please tell us about the first thing that ever made you inspired towards the career of nonprofit?
In the career of a nonprofit organization, I will be inspired. Right now, I'm inspired for what you are doing. Right now, I'm inspired. I'm learning, I'm inspired. To recall, I remember 25 years ago, I came in Edmonton. The Congolese community approached me to do the Happy New Year. They didn't have money, nothing. I sat with them. I said, okay, we will do this. We collect about $3,000. 25 years ago, 300 people came together. They enjoy. The second one inspired me again. Goma is in Congo. 25 years, almost 22 years ago, no, 27 now years ago, something happened over there. The volcano erupted. The Red Cross was looking somebody who can go collect funds. I said, yes, I will do it. And I did it. I collect money and I send money to Goma. I'm very inspired. Every day I meet people. Every day I go to the meeting. Every day I meet someone, or I'm in the event like this one, I'm inspired. What will stop me the day I will die?
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for sharing that, Pierre. And Chantal, can you tell us the first thing that inspired you towards that?
Thank you for that question. As I say from the beginning, when I finished my university, I was hired by Radio Canada International, and the purpose was to show the good side and the beauty of my Black community and share story about what they are doing good other than showing these catastrophes images on the screen. When I saw that became difficult to achieve because I have to go through all the barriers and then fight all the time to show the beauty of African people on screen, I decided to create my own production company. That was back to 1998. So the first project that I had in mind was to go to Africa.
Oh, Chantal, we lost you there. Your mic is muted.
Sorry, somebody mute me. Could you hear me?
It was just for the last couple seconds, yeah.
Oh, where should I start from? Where you didn't get? What you didn't get?
Just the last couple words there.
Oh, the last.
Yeah.
Okay. So the first thing when I was, I couldn't achieve the goals that I needed to show my people on the screen and the beauty of African people, I decided to create my own company, a production company. And then in order to do that, I needed money. And the first project that I had in mind at the time was to go to Africa and do a documentary and come and show that documentary on CBC. How, the kids are, doing good, they study, they work hard. In order to do that, I needed money. For the first things was to have a business plan in place because, I never done that before other than being sent to cover a story and bring back the story. All my traveling and everything expenses were paid. And then I put a business plan in place. I was so proud, and I went to the bank. I remember BMO. It was a British man. That was a manager at that time, and that man lived in Africa his entire life. And he left Africa in Nigeria because of the Biafra war. And he came to settle in Canada. He said, Chantal, if you want $100,000 as a loan, are you kidding? I said, yes, I need $100,000 to go to Africa and shoot my documentary. He said, what about if I give you that money and you never come back? What do I say? How could you back up that guarantee? Can you give me a guarantee that you...
Oh, you are muted again. Just the last word you said was a guarantee.
Yeah, the guarantee. And I was turned down. Imagine somebody who lived in Africa over 30 years, he know Africa very well, and asked me that question. If you go to Africa and you don't pay back your loan, and I don't see you disappear, how do I do? And the plan B was to get that loan at all costs. And then I went to Women Entrepreneur. Just started. It was a brand new organization to trying to help women like me, trying to achieve their goal, trying to get into a business loan. And I met a woman, Karen, I never forgot her. She said, Chantal, let's work again on your business plan. Let's work again on your business plan, and maybe you need to put in your business plan things that maybe the funders like. And then we worked like 6 weeks together to shape that business plan again, and I got my loan. And I went to Africa and I shot the documentary. I came back and I paid back my loan into 1 year, which is a record. Never had a record. 1 year, while other people was getting 10 years to pay back their loan. They gave me only 1 year to pay back loan. So, and then from that time, And I decided, I said, you see what? If they close the door, you could open the door and you could do whatever you would like to achieve. It won't be easy, but. And then came this anniversary of the death of my sister, and then in 1999, and I started this nonprofit organization. Combined, I was doing two things at the same time, having this business and also having this nonprofit organization. In 1999, Madeleine Salan Foundation was created as part of a legacy to keep the legacy of my sister alive.
Thank you so much for sharing that, and just that very cool story as well. We really appreciate it. Well, we are coming to the end of our time here. I just wanted to give a special thank you to our panelists. Thank you so much, John, Chantal, Pierre, and Agnes, for your time and just all the insight that you shared. I'm now going to pass along the mic to Josiah, who will be giving us our vote of thanks.
Before Josiah gives the vote of thanks, I just want to recap what we have heard from all our panelists today. We are very, very grateful you brought such an insight into the nonprofit work here in Edmonton. I think the three things that I got from today's discussion was, first, don't sell your soul, okay? If you have a vision as a nonprofit leader, anybody here, if you have a vision, don't sell your soul because somebody is funding you and has a different goal. So stick with your passion. Second, build the skills you need to be able to accomplish your mandate. So if you want to be in the nonprofit sector, you need to understand that you need to acquire skills to be able to accomplish your mandate or your vision. Third, you need to work in your community. You cannot do anything in isolation because your goal as a nonprofit leader is to be helpful to your community, to help to transform your community. So it's important that you link up with your community, you become part of your community, you are active in your community, you try to win them over to your goal, over to your vision. So it's very, very important. That's what I gathered from that. The third, you need to liaise with politicians. That's what Uncle John was trying to say. The world is a political world, and you need to link up with politicians. You need to know them and link up with those who are relevant to your dream and your vision. So I think these are the four things that today we've gathered from the interactions and interviews with the four leaders. So thank you very much. We will keep these lessons in mind as we also work in our communities. Thank you very much. Josiah.
Yes, some questions, Flora.
John Lurie, I think you had a question. John, are you here? John Lurie. He says, what would you say to a Black newcomer who feels frustrated about the individualism in her apartment, the weather, and a sense of no community being brand new? That was the question. Anybody wants to answer that question? Somebody speaking? Hello? Somebody addressing this? Okay, I just want to say something. I think Uncle John said something very, very important. That when he came to Canada, he knew who he was. And I think that every African who immigrates to Canada must always look back, because who you are is your bank, okay? It's not a financial bank, but it is your identity bank. And it's important that we always call back to who we are. And I think that's the first step to addressing individualism or loneliness and all the other things that come with it. So like you can link up with communities like Syncunia and all the other non-profit organizations who deal with helping newcomers find their feet in the community. But I think that the most important thing is that we must remind our people that they already know who they are before they came here, and they must learn to mine that identity and to use it to help them establish themselves here in the community. Any other contributions?
Yeah, I think I will add to what Flora just said, that sometimes in my community, they say, oh, Ghanaians are not good. You have to be careful of them. Then I tell them, me, I'm not good. If you do me, I do you. And ever since I have been here, my community has been my own people. It has never been a smooth road, but I love my people and I stay with them. And I bring people who are not just Ghanaians, but other people like me. So when you come here with the mindset that we are not good, so we don't like ourselves, you really feel individualized, like the question is, because in this community, they are trained. When they give birth to a baby, they give the baby their own room, and then they put monitor there. So that is how they bring them up. But I wasn't brought up like that. I grew up in a big house. So imagine if I come here and I don't find my own people, and I have that mentality that, oh, my own people is not good, so now I'm going to go find another community. It's so hard. But if you bring yourself to the people, know who you are, like what Flora said, build with them, identify, come and eat kenke with me. And then with time, you'll be able to bridge. But if you say, okay, we are not good, so you are going, that will make you feel more isolated, lonely, and the loneliness will kill here, especially.
Thank you very much, Agnes. We'll now call on Josiah to give the thanks.
I have a question.
Oh, John
no
is
question.
here?
I have just a request.
Okay, go on.
My request, thank you so much for what you did. It's very good, very good. I like it. My request is, there is a war in Congo. Rwanda starts a war because of mineral aspect, and they are killing women, they are killing children because of just mineral. I believe in community. You have the power to spread, stop the war, and give people life. Those black people, they are just alone. They forget them, but we have the power to say something. Please say something to stop the war in Congo and Rwanda.
Thank you very much, Pierre. I hope all the community leaders on the platform are hearing and that you share. I have shared the war about Congo on my Facebook platforms, and I'm hoping that all the community leaders here will also share the information on their platform and generate some discussion. And let's try to get our politicians involved so that they can put pressure and bring the war to an end quickly, because lives are being lost. So thank you very much, Pierre, for sharing. And Josiah.
Okay, thank you very much. So the African Diaspora Nonprofit leadership is a great blessing to the African diaspora community in Canada, specifically Edmonton. We have learned so much from these leaders who have spoken so passionately about their work and shared a wealth of experiences from which we have learned a lot. And let's all give a round of applause and show our appreciation. You can do that virtually to our community elder John Yeboah, to Chantal Dang, to Pierre Mwamba, and Agnes Soa. Thank you all so very much. I also want to say a very special thank you to our moderator, Essilfua Foster. Your moderating skills define the pace and depth of our discussion tonight. We truly value your expertise and appreciate you a lot. Thank you. We also want to thank Priscilla and Jasmine Owen for the land and Black settlers acknowledgements. Without a faithful audience, no event will happen and be successful. So we also would like to take this moment to thank each one of you for making time to engage with us this evening. We hope you learned something new. Last but not the least, we would like to thank all our volunteers and performers. Volunteers are the lifeblood of any organization. So here is a round of applause for your hard work as well. Once again, we appreciate each of you here today, and we hope to see you all again next year to celebrate African Diaspora Leadership. Thank you very much.